Twisted testes take
Tumulus.
time to turn. Twisted testes take time to turn.
Twisted testes tie titties tenfold to turn.
Well, if there can be no arrangement, then we are at an impasse.
I'm afraid so. I can't compete with you physically, and you're no match for my brains.
You're that smart.
Let me put it this way. Have you ever heard of Plato, Aristotle, Socrates?
Yes?
Morons.
Really?
Welcome to Morons Mince Movies. I am your host, Moron Sam Munoz, and I'm here with my fellow morons, Ublester Peñalosa II and Akam Fire and Blood Arturo.
Ooh,
Because today we are continuing our spoiler review of season 2 of House of the Dragon. This is yes, Casa de Dragones. This is episode 5 through 8, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
The back half of the
Yeah,
season.
you can watch episode 1 through 4 review if you click on the thing up here and whatnot. But yeah, that's any general thoughts on the season now that it's ended, and what you feel about it, and anything that before we get into the episodes?
I'm very excited for season 3.
Yeah? That's it?
Yeah. I feel like it's too much. I feel like we have to go through it.
We have to go through it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Piece by piece.
Okay, piece by piece.
Let's do it.
If I had to generalize it, I would say kind of went like this, and then it kind of went like this.
I agree.
But we can get more into that. When did it go like this? And did it ever go like this? And then maybe like this? Did it ever go backwards for some reason? We never know. We'll just have to talk about it more.
All right. Yeah, but I kind of agree. I also have a general sentiment in that way that it was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
The first 4 episodes, if you go back and watch that show we did, I was very, very happy.
And I'm
but
even
it
gonna
goes down.
I'm even going to say, for me, it doesn't go down right away. By no means do episode 5 through 7
they're not
leave
bad.
a sour taste in my mouth.
They're
It's
not
not
bad.
that. It's really a la Game of Thrones. Kind of just doesn't land the target. But let's talk about that when we get to that part.
Let's start with episode 5. This is the aftermath of the battle in which Aegon is burned by Aemond. Rhaenys is killed.
Yes, she is.
But Aemond and Vhagar. So episode 5 opens, I believe, with them going back to King's Landing, and they have the dragon's head, and they're parading it. They're parading it through the city, and secretly they have Aegon's body in this little box thing.
Well, and
where
immediately,
he's
like the townspeople are like, what the fuck did you do?
Because they see the dragons as gods.
Yes, and
so
for them to be pulling this shit, like.
They see it as a bad omen.
It is. It's a huge bad omen. And again, like I mentioned this in the
quiet.
last episode, but I love how much of this series has been focused on the people and the small folk. And like, yes, their thoughts and opinions. The people matter, and they're the kingdom. And like you keep doing shit that's pissing them off, So it's gonna keep causing this resentment, which we get more into as the season goes on. But I just love that we keep getting that. And like you mentioned, Aegon was hidden in secret.
Yes.
His body was brought in. And
Yes.
we found out he got fucked up.
He got really fucked up.
A couple.
Just a little.
Yes.
Just a
But to scratch. Just but to scratch, he says.
I love that they show them trying to treat him and trying to take the armor off. The armor has melted onto his skin.
But you know why he was able to survive is because he has the blood of the Targaryens.
Is that why he's able to survive? I think he just got lucky.
I remember hearing somewhere that the Targaryens were. Doesn't Daenerys at one point say he wasn't a true Targaryen?
She's exactly when Viserys dies, her brother. It's more of a magic, from my understanding.
Oh, okay, like, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, this is Game of Thrones. There's magic in this universe.
Perfectly makes sense.
It's not all Targaryens that are fireproof. It's just the ones that are chosen. Yeah.
Alicent, of course. Alicent is obviously distraught over. And then they cut
so this causes
the power shift.
Yeah, the power shift.
Aemond now becomes Prince Regent.
Yes. So Alicent wants to be the queen regent, I guess is what you would call her, right?
And she's still on council.
Yeah, she's still on the council, and she kind of wants to take over and be the leader. But all the rest of the council, who are men, are like, no, we need a dragon rider. We think
That's
we need
right, because she tells everybody, hey, I ran this shit when the king was, towards the end of his life. I can run this shit again. And they're like, no, you're a woman. Sorry.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it was.
Yep.
And like the crazy, like, I just love the economy of this, like. The irony of like, no, a woman isn't fit to be ruler is the same shit that would happen with Rhaenyra.
Yep.
And now it's happening to her.
Yeah.
And
so
Daenerys.
it's like,
I mean that's a theme throughout Game of Thrones and throughout. Yeah. And so one of his first orders that Aemon does is to shut down the city. Shut down the city.
The way someone was able to sneak in to King's Landing, it was through ships. So as a result, let's just fucking shut down all the ports. No ship comes in or out without it being fully inspected by our people. What's that going to do? Of course, fucking slows down production. Your supplies go down. Fucking
you cut the supply chain, basically.
You cut the supply chain.
So people are already
again the small folk.
Yeah. And this is where we get the locksmith, whose name is Hugh Hammer, I believe.
That is correct.
Yes,
that is not a euphemism.
It's not a euphemism.
It's very original. You could tell the writers it was late at night one day, and they're like,
"If I have a third son,
dude,
I'm going to call him Hugh Hammer." Yes.
I don't see any other name that would fit. To be honest with you, it has to be Hugh Hammer.
And so the locksmith plays a big part here. And he ends up playing a big part later on.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. So here they're trying to get out of the city because they have a child who's sick, and they're trying to get out.
Does that happen in this episode?
Yeah, that happens in this episode, I believe. I'm pretty sure it does, because that's when he shuts down the gates and everybody's trying to get out.
I feel like that happens in the following episode, man.
I think it's this one. I'm pretty sure it's this one.
Throughout the whole episode, they show bits and pieces of the small folk kind of complaining and starting to really rise up.
Yeah.
They're at the bar and someone's like, I heard the queen gets 15 lambs every night. And they're like, what? But we're starving. That wouldn't be. And so there's already this anger and resentment building throughout the episode.
Yes, it starts the sort of resentment that the small will start to have for
There's a weird scene where they start in unison singing,
well, I mean, even
we're
more
not gonna take it. They all just start clapping.
That does happen.
No,
it's true.
We're not gonna take it. We're not gonna take it.
And then Dee Snider
anymore.
comes out of nowhere and starts
does a killer
singing
guitar solo on a dragon, and then they all go back to their regular scene.
You have to wait for the final. I mean, after the episode to watch these.
Yeah, that was the deleted.
That was in the end credits.
You're right, Arturo. That was the end credits.
Thank you, yeah.
I believe we also get we go back to Harrenhal and we get more of Damon's visions and whatnot, and
his fucking trip week.
He's
just I'm sorry, he's just the whole week he's
just been tripping the whole time. He's still trying to get the river lords to join him.
Yes.
That's where he orders, I believe it's one of the Blackwoods.
One of the grandsires. Yes, it's the grandsire.
He tells them like, hey, he goes to the Brackens, tries to convince them, hey, you got to join me or else we're going to basically kill you or something. They're all like, no, we're never going to join you. So then he tells the other guy, go do your worst. There are some things the king...
there are certain things the throne cannot put its name to. You go and do all that stuff for me.
It's not really shown what happens, but it looks like he ends up killing women and children of some sort.
And children, man.
Yes.
It
some
goes
horrible
badly.
things happen. And Damon just continues to have his visions of...
Was this the one where you imagined his mom?
I don't remember exactly all the visions that he has in this one. But yeah, he's having visions of his mother. He's having visions of...
this was this one. So he didn't know she was his mom in the hallucination just yet.
Oh, okay.
They were going at it, a la Targaryen, and then he found out.
Got it. Yeah, I don't even remember that part.
Well, then he also...
I'm sorry, there's a lot. This is fucking like 3 or 4 weeks ago, dude. What do you want me to do, man? I'm sure it happened. You sound like you know what it happened. I'm just being like, I don't remember that. I'm sorry. I'll filter.
Okay,
All right.
so a couple other things happen. One of Jace,
Jace.
Jaceres, the series Targaryen is sent to the twins to try to get them on their side. He does a negotiation with what is the name of that family at the twins? I forgot the name of the
Tullys.
family. No, it's not the Tullys. God damn it.
Let's see.
I forgot their name. But anyways, the negotiation is they're gonna
Allow
give
the
him Harrenhal.
Starks.
Yeah, not the Starks, but is it the Starks to
it
come
was the
by?
Tower. Yes, it was the Starks. We're gonna allow them to use our Twin Peaks bridge.
The Twins Bridge.
The Twins Bridge.
Yes.
We're gonna allow them to use it because they're up north, and Westeros.
And
I
they
mean
needed to
Westeros.
cross. They needed to cross.
They need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
cross down.
They're going to say Westeros is west.
Yeah, no.
He does that negotiation.
Northeros, which is in the north of Westeros.
They went Southeros.
Yeah.
He does a negotiation. That's what he does. Back at Dragonstone. Back at Dragonstone.
Yes.
And
Finds out.
Rhaenyra and her mistress now. What's her
Well,
her
she's
name
not
again?
her mistress yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, they have a little thing that
Yeah.
happens. A little
I mean,
thing.
if anything, she's her hand right now. If any, like,
No.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the hand, but she doesn't really have it. No, the hand is
She was
a
Daemon's
sea snake.
ex-girlfriend.
yeah. Well, right now
Daemon's
that she hasn't. Did she ask him just yet? I'm saying in the way she's her like guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's talking to him.
She's there.
She's talking to her, and she's like, "Let me send one of my girls to go in there and find out what's going on in King's Landing. Maybe start some rumors, spread some rumors, and
And it was
whatnot."
Masseria, by the way.
Masseria, thank you. Aaron. This is why you're here.
Masseria.
This
Yeah.
is why you're here, Arturo. And that's where you get that scene where she goes, one of her spy friend goes in
Yes.
and sneaks into King's Landing and so on. On top of that, there's not much else that happens in this episode, at least that I remember. But the other thing that it happens is that they start talking about getting other writers for the dragons.
Well, just
they show
before
the
that,
Starks.
we have this moment with Corlys because he's grieving the death of his wife. You know,
Yeah.
and excuse me, Rhaenyra does ask him to be the hand of the queen. And in addition, like because he's in this grieving thing, he doesn't really he's kind of lost. He does have this conversation with Bela, his granddaughter, and like, hey, like Driftmark is yours, and she's like, that's your thing. You're salt and water or whatever. Then I'm fire and blood. So and then he's just like you could tell he's just kind of like lost and like not knowing what to do with whom and this and that. And that's what also leads him to really starting to embrace his bastard
sons.
Yeah, sons plural. Yeah, which
he's got two.
we know for sure he has one, and then there's like little hints along the way, and then you're like, oh, he is two.
He's not of silver hair.
At first, the brother, it just implied that okay, maybe they have the same mother, different
Yeah.
fathers, and then when they used the term sons, like, oh no,
Yep.
he birthed both of them or
Yep.
sired both of them.
Yes.
However you want to word it.
Yes. One is named Adam, I believe. That
Yes,
Adam
of Hull.
Adam of Hull, and the other is Alan.
Alan.
Yes, Alan and Adam. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then I mean that's pretty much all that happens. Episode 5, in my opinion, was kind of a slow episode from what I remember. After
My
the
son's
high,
name is Damon.
after the high of episode 4, I felt like episode 5 really brought it down. And
Yeah.
and I was I didn't think it was a bad episode or anything, but it was just a real like contrast to what episode 4 was. So when episode 5 ended, I was like, okay, whatever, we gotta come down from that high and
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot
start
that
setting up
happened,
new
yeah.
things. Yeah.
And well, in addition too, we also, when you mentioned Damon, we are seeing him like all of a sudden like really get into more of his like, no, I should be king.
That's
And
true.
Starts,
That's
yeah,
true.
he starts creeping in.
Yeah, he definitely, of course, had his own intentions, but now they're really settling in, especially when he approaches
What's her face?
No, the elderly gentleman, and he's like,
Strong
oh,
is
like,
the
Castle
Lord
Yes,
Strong.
yeah.
Lord Strong.
he's
I
like,
forgot
oh,
his
what would you
first
call
name.
the husband of the queen? He's like the king. And he's
Yeah.
like consort. And he's like, oh,
Yeah,
so it's
consort.
like, but it is everything's like more and more like, no, this should
And
be
he
me.
plays a pivotal role later in this season because
Oh, yeah.
he's also noticing these
These
subtle
little
hints
things that are
from
happening.
Damon. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that later.
All right, let's move on to episode 6. I think. Here.
Well, and we also have the scene where Aemond is with Aegon, and he's all like, what do you remember?
I think that happens in episode 6.
I think.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that happens in episode 6.
He does visit him though.
He does visit him, but I think that's in episode 6. But either way, that's episode 6, Small Folk. We get another meeting of the council, Aemon is saying it tells Jason Lannister, who go to Essos to negotiate a treaty with the Triarchy. The Triarchy, for those who are familiar with the lore of Song of Ice and Fire, is these free cities in the continent of Essos and
port cities.
Yeah, they're port cities. And they're like city states. Yeah. They're sovereign city states and so on. And they basically go and negotiate a truce to bring down this blockade because that's what's hurting the small folk and so on. He's not really doing it for the small folk. He's just doing it because he wants to win the war and he thinks this is a good way of getting that done. On the other side, back at Dragonstone, as I said at the end of the last episode, I believe what happens is they have this conversation about having other dragons and finding other dragon riders. And Rhaenyra is like, well, let me look at the histories and go through the bloodlines and see if anybody out there might be a candidate to maybe ride a dragon, because all they have is her and her dragon and her son's dragon.
That is where episode 5 ended, and I don't know if you guys caught, because it took me a while. I wanted to go back to it real quick when they're talking about okay, we need to find other people through the bloodlines. Could this actually happen? And then she has a conversation with her son, does it have to be pure Bar Targaryen and this and that, and blah blah blah, and he just shrugs. Because he knows that she knows that he knows that he's not full-blood Targaryen.
Yeah.
And he's a dragon rider.
Yeah. And
that continues they all know that. They all know that.
I mean, we find out throughout the season that it's never been verbally, actually talked about between the two of them.
Oh, yeah.
And we know the audience.
Yeah.
But they've actually never had the conversation yet.
Yeah. They end up having it later on.
So that's why all of a sudden when she says when he shrugs and that's their thing. Yeah. But then as you mentioned, now that's heading into.
Are you sorry, Arturo? Are you against that train of thought that she has? Are you? I felt like you were saying why would she have that thought of just sending out the classified ad, or was I reading it wrong?
No, wait, ask the question again.
I got the impression by the way you mentioned that she put out the classified ad to get more people to.
She didn't put out the classified ad yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was later on.
She has the idea of
right now she's going through the record books.
There you go.
And going through all the houses because she still thinks that
who married.
Exactly.
Officially
and she found a knight whose great grandmother was a Targaryen.
Stefan Docklin. Stefan Docklin, who is a knight of the Queen's Guard in this case. And goes to him and says hey, why don't you try riding a dragon?
Have I got a deal for you?
I love.
Are you tired of walking?
Are you tired of walking?
Don't you wish you could just ride something somewhere?
You wish you could light people on
that's
fire?
exactly how it happened, actually.
Boy, have I got something for you.
And he was like, really?
Yeah.
No way.
That sounds awesome.
You mean I have to ride a horse anymore? I can fly to places?
10 horses, you say.
And here I am using my legs like a sucker.
That's a Simpsons reference.
Yes, there'll be many. And he does surprisingly accept the task. He's like,
he takes it as an honor. He's like, I would definitely go for it.
He's an honorable dude.
So off they go into the dragon's lair, and they call upon the dragon. I believe, is it Sea Smoke? I believe.
No, you're right. Because it was Laurel's.
I don't remember the name of the dragon that they call out.
Husband. It is Sea Smoke.
Yeah. Let me look at my notes here. Yeah, it is Sea Smoke. Yes.
Oh, yes. My notes also confirm.
Shut up! You're ruining the magic. You're ruining the magic. God damn it! Don't tell him the truth.
No. I can.
They can't tell the truth.
These are handwritten.
I
in
typed
Times
these
New Roman.
notes myself. You son of a bitch.
Handwritten in Times New Roman.
Yes, that's
size
correct.
20.
I handwrite my notes in Courier New for your information.
To Wikipedia for their free use.
I handwrite in Comic Sans.
That's correct.
But yeah, no. According to your notes, we are correct.
And according to my notes, yes, it goes horribly wrong.
He gets eaten. He gets close.
Well, and that's the thing.
He gets burned to death.
That's right.
He gets burned.
Along with some of the other dragon keepers.
And there's a bigger reasoning to this too as to why they went with Sea Smoke, because he after losing his rider, he was restless, and we've seen that happen throughout the season. He's flying, he's screeching,
prone.
So he was like, okay, we need to find him a rider. Yeah. So that was their first thought. Clearly, Sea Smoke has his own plans, and later on in the episode, we find out that he was out looking for his own rider.
Yeah. So
He
Sea
wasn't
Smoke took it upon himself after he burned this Darkland fella. I was like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
This guy's not fit to ride me.
this is-
I'm going to go find my own goddamn Targaryen blood. So he goes off, and that's where we get a little bit more. Throughout these two episodes, we get a little bit more about of Adam. Adam of Hull. Yeah. And what he's going on, his relationship with his brother and so on. And he's just like hanging out at a dock or something, right?
Yeah.
When Sea Smoke comes flying around, like it was just like that.
Yeah, he was at a dock, and then he sees people start running away.
Yes.
And that's when he realizes there's a dragon in the air. So everyone starts scrambling, and he runs into the woods.
Yep.
And
Yes.
it's there
And Sea
where
Smoke,
Sea Smoke lands right in
And
front
Sea
of him.
Smoke chases him like
Yeah, it's very How
Yeah.
to Train Your Dragon. Like when
It
Toothless
is.
finds Hiccup.
It very much is. Yeah.
Yeah, so what you're saying is that Song of George R. R. Martin totally bit off How to Train Your Dragon.
100%.
Sounds
Clearly,
like that to me.
obviously, this came before that. Come on, now.
Heard it here first.
Actually, I think Fire and Blood, the book came out after How to Train Your
Timing.
Dragon.
You heard it here, Fire, folks.
Yeah, I think so. I
yeah?
think I might be willing to bet on that.
How to Train Your Dragon is a kid's version of Game
Although
of Thrones.
I'm not sure if that happens in the book. To be honest, I
No.
can't remember. But anyways,
Well,
yes.
because So
Is that where 6 ends? The 6 ends?
no,
Six ends?
No,
There's
a couple
a little
other
bit
things
more.
happen.
Yeah. So we get he's the new Dragon Rider. Mysteria also becomes the new Dragon Rider. This is the episode where she and Rhaenyra have their moment at the end. So that was
Miss Sarah has a
Is
become
that
a
in this
dragon
episode?
rider.
it is at the very end of this. No,
Miss Sarah doesn't become a
No.
dragon. Oh! I was very confused.
That took.
You
like,
didn't
a
get
good
it.
po-
Shut
yes,
up.
I did.
No, you didn't.
Right away. That's why I was like, was that at the end of this episode?
You're lying.
Because I knew right
You're
away what
fucking
that
lying.
joke meant. Replay
Yeah,
it.
sure.
Sam's gonna be
was
like,
he laughing?
what?
He wasn't laughing.
I
I didn't hear any laughing.
There may have been an eye roll and then a question of whether that was at the end of this
That was a
episode or
good
not.
joke. I can't believe I
was a
fucking
great
missed
joke.
it.
thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Do you want to redo it?
There,
Well,
there
genuinely?
should be 2 loading screens on how quick the joke was going over there.
Go see mine. That's-
You're loading screens.
That is a lot to ask. Yeah.
You can do that. That's fucking easy. Come on. Come on.
But yeah, yes.
Yes,
at the
that
end of
moment
this,
happens, yes.
There's another
Yes,
dragon rider.
yes.
Yes.
She doesn't get to ride her own dragon per se.
And Sarah rides her well.
Yeah, because
Well, they don't really ride, actually.
No,
there was
no,
no riding. It was just some
caress.
gentle
It was
kissing.
a dragon caress.
she
in How to
found
Train Your
solace
Dragon.
in her guidance, her personal guidance. Yes.
Yeah. It was quite
She's
quite nice.
feeling very alone, and then she had a.
And then they get rudely interrupted by I don't know who, and to tell her like,
One of the
"Hey,
knights.
there's a dragon rider. There's a
Yep.
new
Yes.
dragon rider."
You know,
And she's
Sea
like,
Smoke
"What?"
has been ridden.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess our little thing must wait.
And then it goes to 7.
no, wait,
because
before we
more
go to
things.
7,
yeah,
a couple
we get
things.
Allison's brother in this episode.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
There's
yes.
that whole storyline.
They go off because Aemon sends Kristen Cole
Kristen Cole.
off back. You must go back and take
Harrenhal,
down
no?
to Harrenhal and take down Daemon.
Yeah.
So they're on their way out and so on.
The brother is doing it nonchalantly.
Yeah, and in addition, we also get official confirmation that a third son exists. He was just implied in the first season. He's in the books,
the brother.
and he was mentioned here. And then this is now an official. There is a third son. He's 16,
Yes.
and he's kind. He's not an asshole like your other sons.
Yeah, but he's off in Hightower. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's off in a different place. Another thing that happens here, according to my notes, written in a handwritten Courier New.
Yep.
That he then posted to Wikipedia for fair use.
Yes, exactly. I want everybody to get my notes that I've
course.
written myself. Also, what happens is the ride on the streets where Alicent and Helena are sort of are trapped,
man.
and they're like
They
because
went
the
to
small
pray,
folk,
They went to light
yeah,
a candle.
the small folk have been they're starving.
So then,
and the rumors are.
it was then. I mean, we forgot this last episode. That's when the ships arrive with all the food. Then
I think that happens in this
no,
this
because
episode.
it happens at the very, very end of an episode, and then we
No.
because the
No, it happens in
No.
this episode, according to my Courier New Notes. That happens in this episode.
Well, this episode they're definitely riding. I feel like the boat showed up at the end. Well, this is
yeah,
not what
at
happened,
the end,
but-
the riot does happen, but at the end, towards the end of the episode, that's when they
No.
send the
throw
food.
they
send
throw the
food.
fish, and they're already yelling, "Long live Queen Rhaenyra!"
Yeah, at that time they don't have any
They
food.
do.
No, they
That's why they
don't.
threw the fish at her because all they've had is fish.
Exactly, they haven't had any of the
The
food that's
rioting.
coming in. That's coming in
That
from
is
Rhaenyra.
why they're rioting, because they already got the food from Rhaenyra.
No,
They've-
this
yes.
is before.
No,
I'm willing to bet this. How can we?
No.
How much you want to bet?
Let's go.
The way
Go
I
back on
remember-
Wikipedia.
It says right here, according to my notes.
Let me type
which
this in. When did the boats arrive?
No, the boats
The-
arrived after the riot.
Yeah, the boats are right after the riots.
I'm telling you.
yeah,
Arturo,
yeah. The boats right after the riots. Yeah, it's the right. Miss-
after they get the ship food from Rhaenyra, they don't show anything else from the small folk. They don't show them like still being angry at Alicent.
Maybe you're right. Hold on. According to my notes,
Yeah.
which I wrote myself, it says that Mysera sends food-laden Targaryen boats to King's Landing. The grateful citizens fight over limited supplies, causing a riot that Alicent and Helena barely survive.
Thank
okay.
you. Thank you.
Arturo is correct.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I
Hey,
took
I've been
very
saying it from the
detailed
get-go.
notes.
Arturo, you absolutely have it on this one.
Thank you.
Dude,
I
no.
appreciate it. Thank you
You're
for
right.
backing me up.
No, that first
both
they
of
get
you.
the ship. The ship food is what causes the riot.
Yes.
And then leads to.
Yeah, so they threw the fish because that's what they've always had.
I
and she's
gagged
like,
so much at that shit. Oh, the fucking fish went in her mouth, and I immediately started envisioning what that would look like and
It
taste
hit
like.
the
for
side
me.
of her face. I think you just imagined it worse.
It splatters. It hits the side
Yes.
of her face, but her mouth is open, and you can see it splatter. I'm sure there were droplets. I'm sure there were droplets of fucking rotten fish that got in her mouth. I would have stopped to gag, and then I would have been beaten to death by the angry mob, all because I couldn't handle the droplets of rotten fish in my mouth. It was fucking gross.
That scene was intense.
It's
Yeah.
good, man.
The whole
It
scene
was
was
very.
intense.
All right.
The people
Like,
were.
I was
pissed.
in actual suspense. I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Like, I
They're
thought
like,
maybe Helena was
we
going to
got no
get
food.
attacked.
We
got
got
no
no jobs. Our
Their
pets'
pets'
heads are falling off.
They were angry. Of course, they would riot.
Yes.
They were very
yes.
angry.
Especially when your pets' heads are falling off. All right, episode 8.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
and then this is where Aegon does
Episode
visit
7.
Hold on.
Apologies.
Aemon does visit Aegon in this one. He's like, what do you remember?
Yes.
Yes.
I forgot about that. That's
There's
good.
that-
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you,
very,
thank you.
it's very Joker and Two-Face in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
In the best way.
Yeah.
And Aegon, I believe, having remembered what actually happened, tells him and lies to him and says, I don't remember anything. I think he lies on purpose.
Oh, of course he does.
Yeah, especially when you see it later on.
Yeah.
All right. Episode 7, The Red Sowing, according to my notes here. This is where it starts off with Rhaenyra confronting Adam on the beach. That was a great scene. That was a great
great scene.
cinematography
But-
right there.
but
like
before
this
we jump into
white
that,
shot, the two dragons.
I do want to say Damon's hallucinations in this past episode were about his brother.
Oh yeah. There was a lot
yeah.
of
We get a lot of
young
Viserys.
and old
Yeah,
Viserys.
exactly.
That part
That's
was
Yeah.
right. And Viserys
To
is,
see him again, man.
is talking to
It
him
was so
about.
good to see him
enjoyed
again.
it.
Yeah,
It
he
was
was
a nice flashback
great,
to
man.
season 1. I was
Yeah.
like, yes, this was
Good old
was-
Patty.
This is what I came for.
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah,
of
Thank
that.
you,
Yeah,
Arturo.
of course.
This is why you're here. This is why you're here.
And episode 7
now,
starts.
Episode 7.
Back to that
beautiful.
epic beach scene. Yeah,
Beautiful.
it
That was a
was
good scene.
It was very much a Western, it felt like. You know, like just meeting at high noon, like,
Yeah,
you know.
with the dragons
It
behind.
was like they're all,
like cowboys do.
it felt
On the
badass,
beach.
yeah.
Yeah.
It really
no,
did, yeah.
It was there was a lot
It
of
also
tension.
reminded me of the standoff in Pirates of the Caribbean 3 with Davy Jones, Orlando Bloom, and everybody.
It did not remind me of that whatsoever.
No.
But so
But no, it
here,
was epic.
here we have the conversation, which is the catalyst for why Rhaenyra sends out the classified ads, which we were
Yes.
talking about
Yeah.
earlier,
Yeah.
to King's Landing and says, calling all bastards.
Sparks an idea. which
Calling
is
all
like,
bastards, we need,
Yeah.
if you have any ounce of Targaryen blood,
Yep.
please come to Dragonstone. We're going to send some
Yeah.
secret ships. And
And the reason
And-
why, let's go back real quick, is because we see that Adam of Hull has it. So clearly he has Targaryen blood. We know this as the audience. Like, she obviously knows something is up. And then when her mind, she's like, okay, let's keep looking through the records. This
Yeah.
and this and that. But what, Mysera, her lady of confidence,
Yes.
what does she mention? Like, queen, girl,
Yeah.
like...
Yeah, she's
Babe.
the one that sparks.
It's not. You're not gonna find it in your record books. Like,
No.
you enter these bars and these pubs, and you find out how many bastards your family has
Yep.
had all this time.
Yeah.
And then
Your
that's
own-
when
your
they're
own
been
kids.
fucking like
Yep.
crazy.
Like, right in
Yeah.
their backyard.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
that-
how do you think
throwing their
businesses
spawn
are?
all
Yeah.
over the place.
Yeah. You need
yeah.
not throw a stone to
and
find
that's
one.
where this comes in. Now realizing, oh yeah, you're probably right. There's probably a bunch of bastards.
Yeah. So then he sends the call, all. And we kind of skipped over Ulf, I believe is his name.
Oh yeah.
Throughout the whole show?
Yeah. I mean,
he's been this random drunk dude who's been saying he's Targaryen this whole season.
He started off kind of like, hey, this is the cool anti-hero. He's bragging in a bar about how he.
I think he was clearly, I think he was clearly presented as a drunk who was just like, I'm a son of a Targaryen, damn it.
See, part of me saw it as like, oh shit, he really did have some. But he's been using it. The only thing it's helped him with is to get drinks and to tell stories. Now he's actually gonna step up.
I don't think he really even believed it himself.
He was a bitch at first. Like he was scared as shit.
Yeah, so
when posed it to him, he was like, ugh.
When they get the classified ads, he says like, "Hey, check this out, man!"
Like,
not to jump ahead, but then that exactly dictates why he's such an asshole later on.
Yeah,
because I was like, I am one. I need more little birds, chicken wings.
At first, I was just fucking shooting shit out of my ass, but now there's a legitimacy.
Now it's true.
Now it's true. Fuck yeah, bitch. In your face. Yeah,
so
you're right.
Let's get into that since we're in that topic already. No, let's move it, and then we can come back and hit some other points later. Yeah. But yeah, so a bunch of people go, and they go to Dragonstone. These are all these different people. Some have silver hair, some not. And the point here is to find new dragon riders. So
would you guys want silver hair, by the way? Quick tangent.
Would I want silver hair?
Yeah, like just badass silver Targaryen hair.
I mean, if it'd be cool.
I'm almost there, man.
Yeah,
I feel like that was a crack at me, but maybe you were not aware of it.
No, honestly, I'd be down for long silver hair.
I'm
like all I'm saying.
47% Targaryen at this point. God damn it.
And growing.
And you rock it well. And you rock it well.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, you look good.
Yeah,
you're a nice chocolate stud with a beautiful mustache, as Peaches told us in the comments. By the way, Peaches, appreciate your comment. Thank you for commenting.
And me personally, I appreciate that comment, and
especially his wife. Which I'm pretty sure is who you are, Peaches. Show tell us who you really are. I know it's you, Mia. I know it's you.
The referencing
That's the only thing I can make sense
on
of.
our Deadpool and Wolverine episode for those who are entirely lost.
There was a comment referring to my mustache.
Click here now.
Yeah. Anyways. So they all get there. Rhaenyra's like, hey, let's go to the dragon lair. Pretty much like calls upon it's not Sea Smoke this time. I forget which is the dragon she calls upon.
Vermoth or something. Vermoth.
Vermithor.
Is it?
Yes, Vermithor. Let me look at my notes here.
Vermithor, yes.
Vermithor. I was correct.
The second largest dragon.
There you go.
Yes, Vermithor.
The Bronze Fury.
Yeah.
This
is a good one to
Vermithor
try
comes
out.
and she's like, all right.
Yeah.
I'll leave you guys to it. Basically, like, all right, good luck.
I'll be in this fireproof cave.
I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna hang out on the balcony over there while you guys figure this out.
She puts on all this armor, and they're like, are we safe?
The way she did it was kind of fucked up.
Yeah, man.
And her reaction to like the death and everything, I was like, what did you expect, man? You basically just like, let's call the dragon, like, all right, calm down, dragon. Calm down.
She has all my respect.
Like, all right. Like, that's all I can do. Peace out. Good luck.
This is the hardest part. Cleaning these bodies.
Bring
in the next batch.
She
goes back to her cave.
It's like Shrek. It's like Shrek. A lot of you will die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
That's essentially her speech.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens.
But I mean, the
and it's just a massacre.
The ends
it's a
justify the
massacre
means to her.
Dude, and that was fucking brutal. That was epic. The way Vermithor just fucking wreaked havoc and ate these bodies up. Yeah. I think I was talking to Tori about this actually. I can't remember. Somebody.
Yeah.
It was a good scene.
They were like half eaten. He was still going at it. Yeah.
And it's basically only two survive, which is Hugh Hammer.
Hugh Hammer.
And
Hugh Hammer ends up being the one to be chosen by Vermithor.
Yes, because he stands up to him. He's like, come on,
and I
motherfucker.
That. Well, first off, I loved how we found out in this episode that, oh shit, he's also Targaryen. And the fact that he's been like our point of view, I guess you could say.
For the small folk.
For the small folk, thank you.
I like that.
And then now he's rising up. He's claiming a destiny bigger than himself. We find out that his mother was Targaryen and she did her thing when she was young, and he never knew who his father was.
No, I think the father was Targaryen, not the mother.
Because I read about it. I did some research, and she's in the books. She's actually heavily featured.
Oh, really?
So it turns out her name is Sarah. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like Seary or RY.
Sounds like
or
Sarah.
RA. Excuse me. And she had a very socially active.
Socially
You good?
active. She was
very active
promiscuous.
social life.
Promiscuous.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was a
Promiscuous.
whore.
No, so there's.
I just figured I would save us some time. That's just tomato.
She was very body positive and
There you go.
independent.
That works
Yes.
Her
too,
body,
man.
her
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
guys
yeah.
can be horse too.
Yeah. Everybody give me a whore.
Yeah.
And
She was very
so-
promiscuous.
Okay.
And she had these 3 very high-profile lovers, and then her father was like, "Nope, fuck that." And then she like called her to the stand, and like she kills one of them right then
Oh,
and there.
shit, man.
He denies her dragon, and she's gonna exile her or some shit. And then that night she's like, "Well, fuck you, I'm gonna do my own thing." And then she takes off, becomes a woman, a lady of the night, and does
Lady of the Night.
Oh,
indeed
Lady of the Night.
do her thing.
Like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
And then and then at
exactly
the
like
end
that.
of her story, she opens up her own pleasure house.
Oh,
Good for her.
Like
Very
Moulin
nice.
Rouge.
Yeah, but her son is indeed Hugh, and the dragon that was denied her is Vermithor.
Oh.
So her son
now
gets her
son
dragon.
gets her, and that's why the dragon chose her.
Yep, yep.
This is why you're
So-
here.
The more
Yep,
you
yep,
know.
yep.
The more you know. Ding,
more it
ding,
grows.
ding.
Yeah.
No, I'll make sure you put that on there.
Yeah.
Please and thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. And then
so
you
now
get
we
another
have
scene.
another-
So Hugh Hammer gets Vermithor,
Mm-hmm.
and Ulf has run away because he's scared as shit.
Yeah.
And just happens to stumble upon the other dragon whose name I do not remember.
Silverwing.
Silverwing. Thank you.
Silverwing.
Thank you. And he's just like, just kind of like,
Yeah.
stumbles
He's like,
upon
"Oh,
it. And Silverwing is
hey."
like, should I eat this guy?
fuck it.
Fuck it.
Whatever.
We'll go with him. And he's, and then next scene, he's in King's Landing,
Flying.
fucking scaring
Flying
everybody.
around. Yeah. Disregard.
Yeah, he's just like,
Complete
"Whoa!"
disregard to the people. And then the,
And that's what makes Aemon get on Vagar.
Yes.
and
And he fucking charges over there.
yeah, he's like, oh, I want to go kill this motherfucker.
Yeah.
But then when he gets to Dragonstone, he sees like the other dragons, and he's like, oh, wait a minute.
Come at me, bitch.
It was exactly like that. It's like, he pulled
maybe
his
I
collar.
should turn around. Yeah.
He turned into Jerry Lewis all of a
He
sudden.
did. He's why with the dragons and the fire and the burning?
That's also a Simpsons reference.
That's
Well,
exactly what
the
happens in
Simpsons
the episode.
referencing, yes.
Yeah,
exactly what happens in the
exactly
episode.
how he says it. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, he turns back, and I think that's what
And that scene was so fucking
Yeah,
badass.
man.
When
Not
she
to
just
take away
stood there,
from it, yeah.
and all the fucking dragons are just fucking yes.
Is Rhaenyra
Yes.
in that shot as well?
She
Yeah,
is.
right. She's
Yeah,
the
she's
main
right here.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
the
literally
main
the
one
only
looking
human.
out. Yeah.
With everyone's
And what
dragons
is that
behind her.
app again?
TV time.
TV Time, please. Make sure you subscribe to TV Time and make sure you use the MMM password.
Service code. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
service code. Yeah.
code, but yes, it's a great
Yeah.
app.
You get
Yeah.
0%
It's what we used all of
discount.
last
Sponsored
time.
by TV Time,
Yes.
where
Yes.
your time is on TV.
It's on TV.
Hey, this is not a
I like
paid
it.
That
partnership, but we'll
was a
take
word
it.
from our sponsor.
And now back to our normal.
And now back to our
programming.
normal.
Yes, that was epic. That was badass. But then the dragon stuff isn't the only thing that happened this episode.
Yeah, other things happen.
Damon
going
had
back to
finally
Damon.
stopped hallucinating.
Did he? I don't think he ever stopped
That's true. I think
hallucinating.
he still keeps hallucinating.
But we get the new Lord Paramount
Yes.
of the River Lords.
Little Tully.
What's his name? Oscar Tully? No, is it Oscar Tully? It is Oscar Tully.
There you go.
I was right. I pulled
Yeah.
that one out of my ass.
Good ass.
Oscar Tully,
Yeah.
who's a young lad.
That's a good.
It's a good,
Got the right answer.
and he knows
He
it,
shows
baby.
up
Yeah.
to talk to
And
Damon.
dude, little badass. He reminded me a lot of fucking what's her name?
The
Yeah,
bear,
the-
from the Bear Islands,
Lady Gwyneth.
Yeah, from the Game of Thrones. Lady
Yeah.
Tiny Lady.
the little girl.
Last
right?
of Us.
Yes.
Claw.
Yeah, she was.
We
We
she
all
was
know who we're
hardcore.
talking about.
She was
Yeah, yeah,
hardcore.
yeah.
I
She's
can't remember.
hardcore. She's badass. Yeah,
she was
That's
very
her,
cool.
yeah. The
Yeah,
balls
but-
on this little kid.
But it starts off
Yeah.
not like.
He's got big balls. Yes.
Is this the same episode where he first shows up and he's all like, I can't really speak for my grandsire? He's still alive. He's on his deathbed.
He showed up briefly.
Yeah, well, that comes in
earlier.
early
Now he's
episodes.
back. So
Now-
now his
now he's
grandsire
back. Okay.
passed away. Now he's
So
the
we-
one in
we
charge.
skipped over that
And
whole
all
Damon.
the- yeah.
Kind of responsible for the death of the grandsire because he sent
Oh.
his girl to help cure him.
And miraculously, after sending his girl to help cure the grandsire died.
There was a
who now left
conspiracy.
Oscar Tully in charge, who now comes back to Damon and is all like, yeah, my grandfather died, coincidentally.
Yeah.
Not pointing any fingers. So let's talk this out. And that's where you start seeing his fucking...
Yeah, and Oscar Tully is willing to keep his loyalty, which his grandsire had.
Which I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Had with the Rhaenyra,
Yes,
and so on. But he's not gonna let it. He's not just gonna bend the knee and bend over
because he has
like
all these families that he now needs to rule properly.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's got the advantage of that Damon needs them
Yes.
for this war. So they all meet in the Godswood, I believe, is where they're at.
Yeah.
And Oscar Tully is basically telling the rest of his lords, like, hey, I'm going to keep my promise that my grandsire made to Rhaenyra Targaryen, but that motherfucker over there, who he's talking about, the Blackwood, who ended up killing all the children and women and whatnot.
The one who Damon a few episodes ago told him there are
To
certain
do
things
such
the
things.
throne can't do.
Yeah.
Do that for me.
So Damon is technically responsible, but we can't kill Damon
This is
here.
the one. Yeah.
So might as well
Yeah.
get the justice upon.
How could we?
yeah, I mean,
It's Matt Smith. Come on.
he's basically the Charles Manson of all
Well, you
this,
can't
but
kill
yeah.
him because he's a fucking king
Oh, well,
consort.
that too.
That's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
because he's the actor. Or whatever.
Both things.
But yeah, he is responsible in a weird Charles Manson
But
way.
Oscar Tully
he's the one
basically
who caused
pay.
all the murders.
Damon thinks he's in control here, but Oscar
That
just
was the
turns
best
this
part,
shit
yeah.
around
Yep.
and is like, "No,
Yep.
motherfucker, I'm in control,
Yep.
and you're about to show everybody who's that you're gonna basically do
Yeah.
what I
What
say."
I'm I'm fucking making
And,
this
yeah,
happen.
yeah. So he says justice needs to be
Because he
served.
also needs to prove himself to everybody around him
Yeah,
too.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
There's a lot.
So they end up executing that Blackwood
Not
fella.
they. Damon.
Damon
himself.
ends up executing. Yes,
Takes
yes.
out the sword.
And that's how he proves his worth to the rest of Riverlords. And now he's got his army.
So now Damon has his army. What is he gonna do with it? Stay tuned to find out.
Well, before we move on to the last episode of the season, there is one other thing that happens. Does it happen in this episode where the other guy comes from the other guy who's trying to talk to him about like, hey, maybe you should be king and kind of like take over.
the
here.
person that Rhaenyra
No,
sent.
that happens in the last episode.
That happens in the
Okay.
last episode.
All right, so
Yeah,
let's
that's
move
right.
on. Episode 8, the queen who ever was. Yes, that is the name of this episode, according to my notes.
So before jumping into this real quick, if I may,
Yes.
there's a couple of things that we have kind of glossed over, and it's okay. We're going this as we go. One of the things is, I'm forgetting her name. Bela's younger sister.
Oh, she's in the Erie.
Yeah, she's in the Erie. She's been sent over to the Erie. She's got the kiddos. She's
Oh,
looking
yeah,
after
yeah.
them.
Rhaena.
Raina. Thank you. She's
Rhaena.
being the mom that Rhaenyra can't be. And then what do we find out?
And she
That
doesn't like
somewhere she doesn't like that at all.
Yeah.
And they fucked over the Erie because they told him we're gonna send you a dragon, but they didn't tell him that the dragon's a baby.
Little baby dragon.
But we find out there's a dragon in the wild.
Already in the
So
wild.
Rhaena's like, oh shit, I'm gonna go do my thing. And there's been like this whole thing of her trying to prove herself and trying to fight the dragon. And so like that and like I felt like leading into this like final episode, I'm like, there are so many fucking storylines that are happening right now.
Yeah, man.
Like
Yep.
either there's 2 more secret episodes I don't know about, or they're gonna need to make this an hour and a half. It was an hour 15.
This is where I also started
yeah.
to have my suspicions.
This is like there's a lot to wrap up here.
Yep.
Let's see what they're able to do.
Yeah.
And then we got
I mean, she
here.
ends up getting a dragon at the end.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, you don't
we
know
don't know.
that.
She just finds him. She just
gets
finds
it.
the dragon.
I mean, it's pretty
She
obvious
finds
she
the
gets the
dragon.
dragon.
So-
we don't
She
know.
gets the
That
dragon.
might be sheep killer. There's a dragon that
Yeah,
is
he had the one that's been killing all the
he's
sheep and
been
whatnot,
killing all
yeah.
the sheep,
Yep.
and
So
There's a question of which dragon this is.
Yeah. So we get her story in stints throughout this episode.
Yeah,
So
scattered.
she basically leaves the Erie. I don't know if she's kicked out or not. I don't remember
No,
exactly
she just
what
runs.
happened.
She just runs.
She's just and basically she's on her own in the wild and trying to
Yeah.
find this dragon. And then towards the end of the episode, she finds the dragon. And
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty obvious that she's gonna ride it.
It might
It's
be.
pretty obvious. I mean, come on. So let's back up a little bit because now we're in Essos. The episode starts, I believe, in Essos,
yes.
where Tylan
Lannister.
Lannister
Yeah.
is there doing his negotiations with the Triarchy and saying like, hey, I need your ships and everything. Like, come on, we'll give you some, we'll give you this or that. And then they're all like, no.
That was a lot funner than I expected it to be.
Really?
A lot more fun than you expected it to be.
You know what? Funner is a word in my vocabulary.
It's the funnest word in my vocabulary. So
It was sort of enjoyable. Yes. I like the fact we didn't get this much in Game of Thrones, but I like the fact, and this is in the books, that the people in Essos they color their beards in different colors, like blue. They had like the blue beards and so on.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught that.
I
but
did.
Yeah. That's like a thing in the books that doesn't really show up in the original Game of Thrones episode. But that was cool to see. Like, oh yeah, they're finally doing that kind of stuff. And
I'm cool with it.
The people of Essos, they want the stepstones, which if you understand the geography of Westeros and Essos, there's like these little islands that connect the two big continents. Yeah. So for those who don't know, and if you're watching this episode, you should know, Westeros is like Great Britain, but turned around.
Yeah.
But like turned around.
Like an upside down Great Britain.
Yeah, no, like turned around the other way. And then you have these stepstones, these little islands that kind of connect the two continents in a way.
And Essos is full of the vaguely ethnic people.
The vaguely ethnic
This
people.
is,
Pedro Pascal.
I was gonna say
the
this
Sand
is where-
Sisters.
Pedro Pascal is not from Essos.
Yeah, he was.
No, they're from Dorne, and that is
are from
in
Dorne.
Westeros.
That is Westeros.
right.
South
Oh,
Westeros.
Arturo! My respect for you has fallen. You did all these great things.
Dorne.
You did all these great things. It's okay.
Right.
We all make mistakes.
Thank you, I
We all make
appreciate it.
mistakes. Anyways, going back. So they say, all right, we're gonna join you, but first
But first,
you have to convince the captain, whose name escapes me.
So they make it seem like this is like this
Shocklar.
brutal thing, like this terrifying figure
Yeah.
he needs to face.
Yes,
And
yes,
I love the expectation subversion on this.
yes. So this woman comes out. Admiral Sharako Lohar is what I'm reading in my notes.
There you go.
Yes, Sharako Lohar. So basically, she challenges him to a mud wrestling match.
Yeah, she says, I'm not going to go into war with a man that
Can't
cannot
best me.
Me, yes.
So if he can't beat me, then fuck that. I don't want him as my captain. So they go into what else?
So she's
fucking
kicking
mud
her
fight.
ass in some oddly sexually arousing mud
Of
wrestling
course.
scene.
Of
Of
course.
course, Sam was
Yeah.
loving every second of it.
I did enjoy the mud wrestling.
Yeah. The parts with Tyrion Lannister, I imagine. Yeah.
And Tylen's basically getting his ass kicked, but he finally mans up and
mud to the face.
What's that?
and does a couple of slaps.
Fucking sand. Fucking mud.
Does a couple
in
of
her
slaps.
eyes.
She's very much enjoying this, and everything
Yeah.
like
You got
You're
mud in my
not-
eyes.
you're not
my one
so-
weakness.
you're not so
Mud in
bad
my
after
eyes.
all.
Yeah, she's like, okay, you're cool. We're cool, guy.
All right, let's
All right,
go. Have you
we'll
ever
sail
eaten your
together.
enemies?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Let's
no.
go to war.
Yeah. So,
And later on, and let's fuck.
oh yeah, no.
Well, he interprets
No.
it as that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then, like, no, I want you to sleep with my wives.
I want you to fuck my wives. And like, how many wives do you have?
Yeah. I was like, well, this is very progressive. I like it. Cool. More power to the...
I think Tyler hit the jackpot. I don't know about you, but I mean,
I didn't
that's
know there were Mormons, but I mean,
the
yes.
sacrifices that
side
he had
note.
to make were some of the easiest sacrifices.
Yeah.
They're telling me I have to wrestle you in the mud,
Yeah.
then I have to fuck your wives.
Yeah. I guess.
God
Like,
damn.
God,
I
but twist
mean-
my arm.
I forgot I need 10 armies.
By the way, do we
What is
know
that?
if it's the same actor playing both roles, or are they twins in real life as well?
What are you talking about?
There's two different dudes. There's one on the
What?
council and then his brother.
Is it
Hasn't there
Jason
been?
Lannister and
Yeah,
Tyler Lannister?
Jason.
Do they
yeah.
look the same? I don't think
They
so.
look identical. That's why I was
Really?
always wondering if it's just. I always
this
assumed
whole time
'cause
I thought it was the guy that was on the council doing all of this. And that's why I thought he was,
he was
so
both
poor at it.
dudes.
No, one is
Yeah.
No,
isn't,
he had the
isn't,
twin
isn't one
brother.
the Lord of Treasure, the Lord of
Yeah, the
Treasure, and
treasury.
then the other
on
one is the Lord of
council,
Ships.
and one's the Lannister dude that's actually out and about.
No, they're different.
Exactly. But I'm wondering, is it 2 actors or is it one playing
I'm pretty
both?
sure it's 2 actors.
Might
They look
be 4.
identical.
I need to go back and rewatch that. But tell us about it in the comments if you
Yes, very
if
important
you
part
know
of
whether
this.
that is or not. My notes did not tell me this.
I love, by the way, that she kept mispronouncing his name on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and the first time she calls him Tywin.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I like that. I was like,
That's
nice.
That was a nice little
yeah.
thing.
Tywin Lannister.
Going back to Damon.
Who knows if he's up?
Going back to Damon. So this is where Damon has the vision of visions.
With Helena.
Yeah.
Oh, no, with the...
Helena's in it too. Helena's in it
Yeah.
at the end.
Oh, yeah.
But you
It
get
happens
all
at
kinds
the-
of stuff. You get the White Walkers.
Oh,
Happens at the dead
yeah.
one where he goes up to the tree.
Yeah. This is
So
with
this is final
Alice
vision,
the
and
witch.
That was fucking
Yeah.
epic.
They touch the
man.
weirwood tree, and you get I believe you get Brandon Rivers, which is the
You get the antler creature first before he touches the tree. If you remember, he
The
walks
Wendigo?
into that section. The what?
no. There's a creature. It's
Yeah,
it's one
he
of the
walks
green
into
men.
Man-Bear
The
Pig.
green men, I believe.
No, it's not
Man
green.
Bear Pig.
There's fucking hooves.
Man, bear pig.
Look it up. The outline is uncanny. It's Man-Bear Pig.
Really?
I'm sure of it.
Really, and
But
I'm
there's
sure
antlers. It's
there
no
was
other
also
creature.
a vision of Al Gore in there as
Yeah.
well.
It's no other creature that we've seen in Game of Thrones lore. I can guarantee you of that. Because the children of the forest don't have antlers. They don't have hooves.
That's true.
That's why I
So
think it's a
there's-
Wendigo.
I don't know what a Wendigo is.
Oh, according to North American legend, it's a creature
Oh, shit.
that is out there that has antlers.
Okay. Well, then it's
Like
most
deer?
likely a Winnebago. You're right. It's a Winnebago. Let's just so after he sees the Winnebago,
So
he goes up to the tree and touches it.
So there is a if you're familiar with the books, there is a part of the lore is that there are these weirdwood trees in the
Yes.
God's Eye that are protected by the green men and so on. So I believe that's what that creature is supposed to be. I don't know.
Okay, probably.
I don't know. But anyways, yes, we get visions of the White Walkers. We get visions of Daenerys Targaryen.
Daenerys
three eggs.
fucking Targaryen.
The
yes,
three
yes.
eggs.
When she has her, when she
That-
hatches her
dude,
dragons.
I got really emotional when I saw that. I'm not gonna lie.
Of course.
There's
I was 2 beers in, and I might have been crying.
there's a weird crow there.
So
The third-eyed raven.
that's Brandon
Yes.
Rivers. That's
Yes.
Brandon
It
Rivers.
is, right?
That's the third-eyed raven. Yes,
He's
yes,
stuck in
yes.
there.
yes.
It's a young version of him. He has a birthmark.
He has the birthmark.
and the
yes.
the third-eyed raven comes out of the birthmark.
Yes.
So
yes.
that's how you know it's him.
Then you get Rhaenyra wearing the crown.
Yes.
She's on the Iron Throne, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
But then I think Allison Allison doesn't show up.
No. And then you get Helena, I believe.
Helena
Yes.
shows up.
Yeah.
Because Helena's always been known
Yeah.
what's up.
Helena,
Yeah. She
when
tells
we
us
get,
straight up.
we get
like,
confirmation that she's a green seer, I believe what they
Yes.
call.
Yes.
And
There it
that she
Now it
has
is.
been kind of, seeing all these things, and that's why she's
I
been
got
kind of,
goosebumps.
she's
man.
been kind of out of it the whole. We have been sort of perceiving it as like, oh, maybe she's not all there, but what's
Yeah.
going on is that she's
fucking psychic.
Yeah, she's seeing things and whatnot, kind of like Bronn in the old Game of
Yes.
Thrones episode.
Yes.
And
Bran.
Bran.
Braun was a very different
I'm sorry,
character.
Bran. I
That's a
don't know.
cereal.
I say the A's in
Raisin
English in the English way. Anyways, so and then you get sort of a conversation. I can't remember the conversation between Damon and Helena, but I remember the conversation between
Your
Aemon
story.
and Helena, where Helena basically tells Aemon,
Oh, yeah,
"You're
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
fucking die in
Yep.
the God's eye, and you're an asshole, and basically fuck you," is what she says.
She
He
basically
wants her
tells
to ride a
him,
dragon.
"Fuck you, Sam."
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
He
that's
wants-
exactly what she says.
Aemon wants her to ride a dragon. He's like, these fucking times
Yes.
are desperate. You need to become a dragon rider.
But
you're-
Helena's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I don't want
I
to
don't
go
wanna-
and
I don't
kill
wanna fucking do
people.
that.
Yeah,
No.
I know.
That
Yeah,
sounds horrible.
exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she like basically tells him like, yeah, you're nothing. You're worthless. You're another pawn in the game of this
Yeah.
giant story
Kill
that's
me.
being
Nothing's gonna
told.
change
Are we
for
talking
you.
about 2 different things?
No, we're talking
There's
about
a
the same
conversation
thing. There's a
where Aemon
conversation.
and
Aemon
Helena
and
are on-
Helena, they're having.
Yeah,
on
but
a-
that isn't in Damon's vision. We went straight from
No,
the
no,
vision
no.
well,
to
the,
this.
from the vision,
says-
it
yeah.
jumps into that, and it jumps into that
to the
because-
real life conversation between them.
Yeah,
Between
because
Helena and-
Helena's like on some balcony or something like that, and so you get the vision with Damon, and then from that it
Kinda
switches
fades
into
yeah,
to
Okay.
her.
She turns around and she starts talking
Making
to
sure,
and then,
yeah,
and then
Aemon.
Aemon comes in and starts trying
Yeah.
to convince her
In
like,
real
hey,
life, yes,
yeah,
in
yeah,
real
trying to,
life.
hey, you
Yeah.
should ride a dragon and whatnot.
Yeah.
And she's like, nope, I'm not gonna do that, and all the things that we just said.
Said, I can teach you how to train your dragon.
Yeah.
And it was as
Again,
close
George
as-
R. R. Martin stealing from How to
Yeah.
Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
those movies.
And this whole thing is this theme I kind of enjoy of so Alice, the witch that Damon has been kind of talking to this whole
Yeah,
time,
yeah, yeah. That's
has
right.
been telling
Not to be
Damon.
confused with Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, no,
Or
no.
Alice from the Brady Bunch.
No, yeah, especially not from the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
But so Alice is telling Damon that you're just a pawn in the game as well. Like you need to know your role and shut your mouth. She basically goes the rock on him. Know your
Damn.
role and shut your mouth.
Can you smell?
And can you
What?
smell what Alice is cooking?
Alice is cooking.
and Damon's like, yeah, basically. And he kind of just says, yeah, that's kind of what I have to do. And this whole time you have that fucking other character who's trying to convince Damon, like, hey, why don't you fucking betray Rhaenyra?
He shows up
Yeah.
earlier. Yep.
Yeah, he
yep.
shows
He's
up
like,
earlier.
They need a king. We need a man to follow.
Yeah,
Yep, yep,
because
yep.
he's a sexist
And
bastard.
So
Damon takes offense to that. Damon, it kind of, from that point of view, was
Not
like,
really. He's offended, but he's also kind
he's
of
also thinking about it.
Yeah. This is
'Cause-
before
and
he
then-
has the vision.
Exactly
This is
before he has
the
the
vision.
vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then we have the
Lord Strong, the
Lord
fat
Strong,
guy.
the happy jolly guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sends a message
Santa
out to
Claus, if you will.
Rhaenyra. He's like, hey, there's some sketchy shit
meme
going
with the
on.
cup.
You should probably come through.
Yeah.
because there's some there's
Yeah.
some shit going on. So she flies out.
Rhaenyra and Adam with his new dragon.
True, that's right.
Yeah.
She has him back him
Yeah.
up.
She over Jace.
Oh, that's true. Oh, fuck.
at
That
the ca- they're at
interrupted
the
the
council.
feast.
Yeah.
The little dinner
They're at
table
the
thing they were there.
feast.
We talked about
Where-
that with Ulf is being an
Ulf is
asshole.
being
and
an
he's-
asshole.
he's-
Yeah.
that he wants
True.
more
Feeling
birds.
the
Jacaerys is
table.
pouting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jace is not. He doesn't like this whole
he's been
thing about the
hiding
lowborn.
yeah.
The lowborn isn't like
But what's
that.
her face?
Because then
sets
it
him
makes him
straight.
feel lowborn because
Yeah.
and then she's like, no.
Well, it makes
like,
him feel that he's not special.
exactly.
Yeah.
Correct.
And they think
Yeah.
that they're special.
So, and then going back, so they leave, they fly out. Rhaenyra shows up, and she's all like, "What the fuck's going on?" And Damon,
After seeing the vision
Oh,
now.
my
with
God.
all these armies behind
yes,
him.
they have this conversation in
First
High
of all,
Valyrian.
when Rhaenyra walks in, nobody's bowing. Like all the soldiers are there and they're watching her walk by, and nobody fucking
Well,
bats an
and
eye
it's like
and bows.
slowly slows up. No one does bow, but then I was just like, "Oh shit, she's here! Oh shit!" What are
Right,
we-
they're
what
all
are
Well,
we
they
looking
were
at
waiting
her.
to see what was going to happen.
Exactly.
Right, because they
Yeah.
don't know who to follow, so they don't bow just yet because they know Damon
Yeah.
is also going to be nearby, and they're like, I don't want to fucking bow if Damon's going to take over this shit.
And at this point, it looked
So
like
there's
Damon was
this
very much
tension.
like, "I'm gonna be king."
There's
Yeah.
this tension of like, what the fuck's going
Well,
to happen?
this is after the vision, so
Right,
you
after.
have that conversation with Alice where he's being told, "Hey, you need to shut your mouth and know your role," and so he goes to Rhaenyra, tells him a little bit about his vision, the Song of Ice and Fire, and so on. The winter is coming. Is one of the phrases.
I pointed at my
see,
TV just like Leonardo DiCaprio in the meme.
You see a young White Walker?
Yeah. And he decides to bend the knee and basically show,
There will be
that-
no mercy. We will fight for our queen.
Yeah,
and
the
he's-
way he
and
the
he
way
smells what
fucking-
Rhaenyra is cooking.
Yes, he does. Smell
But
what
that,
she's cooking.
that
yes.
moment, man, because like
There's a buildup.
having them come back together. It's like they almost kiss, but they don't. But it's just that moment that they're like, are they almost?
Well, they
on the
have a
same
little thing where they
Yeah.
kind of touch
page?
heads.
They
and
touch foreheads, and they're like, oh,
And then,
Yeah.
No, we mustn't.
not in front of everybody.
We mustn't.
It was more like,
oh.
Yes,
I don't
just
know.
like that.
And then, but then,
Yeah.
like
Replay that.
the way he replays, like,
I'm never gonna be able to forget that.
right? Never. Forever in your head. But the way he riles everyone up, and then they bow, and it's this big moment of like, yes, this is our queen.
Yeah.
I was so fucking thrilled,
But
man.
then you see the one guy that was trying to.
oh, and he fucking dips out.
He's
He
like,
goes like,
"Ugh,
"Whoa."
And then, like,
I don't
yeah,
know.
He's so
also,
thrilled, he just-
Also very-
another, also another Jerry Lewis thing.
I think I need
I
to
better-
get out of here.
I better bow right now.
Yeah.
So- and then to finish this off, one of the final scenes where we get Alicent, who gets the Dragonstone.
Somehow.
She sneaks into Dragonstone and talks to.
well, before,
Rhaenyra.
because that happens towards the end.
Oh
yeah. So
there's
we
a couple
missed
more
the scene
things.
where
anything
she
else that
talks-
missing?
Yeah.
What are we missing?
Like Larys talks to Aegon.
Oh yeah, I forgot
That
about
whole
that.
scene with Laris, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. This is why you're here. This is why you're here. Thank you, TV Time, where time is on TV. Anyways.
And TV is your time.
Yeah, TV is your time.
So-
Anyways,
TV is not time. You think it go the other way, but it's
anyways,
Aegon's looking much better. right?
Not really.
I mean,
he's-
he's awake and he's conscious.
They basically put him on a fast track healing. The
Yeah.
maester's like, come on, King, you gotta fucking
Apúrale.
start walking. Yeah, it's like,
Apúrale,
ándale,
güey.
cabrón, ándale.
Huevo, güey,
Ándale,
ponte las
cabrón.
pilas, güey.
Yes.
Pilas, güey.
It's exactly, and he's like,
Yeah.
no puedo.
Me duele.
Chinga su madre, hijo de puta.
I got a pain in my chest,
And I can't breathe.
And I couldn't breathe.
and so Laris comes in and basically tells them, King, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
Get
The
the
shit is
fuck
hitting
outta
the
here.
fan. The
Yo,
shit is hitting the
Gotta
fan.
go.
I got some money stored up in Bravos. You and I, we're gonna fucking go. We're gonna hide up there for a bit. Don't worry, we got enough money to be okay. You're gonna heal up. When this shit blows over, we're gonna come back and you're
Yeah.
gonna be called the King, the Peace, Aegon, the Peacemaker. He brings up
Yeah.
all these kinds of nicknames.
It's getting him hyped.
The day, yeah, he's hyping
You
him
and
up.
me, man.
Yeah,
You and
he's
me.
basically like a fluffer. He's fluffing him. He's
Do it.
he's
You look
like
buff,
he's-
by the way.
If you
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know what a
yeah,
fluffer
yeah.
is, please don't look it up.
and don't explain it. They have to understand. So yeah, he's fluffing him up and he's saying, "No, you're gonna be king. Don't
do
worry.
this."
We just need to get out of here because shit's gonna hit the
And
fan.
it
and
takes some
Aemon's gonna
time.
come over and kill you. By the
It
way,
takes some time, but Aegon comes around.
yeah, he goes. He comes
He's like,
around.
yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
so in
yeah.
that-
after enough fluffing.
Yep.
Yep.
Because that becomes like this little sequence of like quick scenes that we're seeing. Like, you know, they're leaving. They decided to leave. We see Otto is in a prison.
Well, that's at the
and-
end. That's at the
no,
end. That's
no,
at the
no,
end.
No.
Can
I
now
digress.
now
So
we can go to the Alicent and Rhaenyra
Yes.
conversation.
Did we cover everything? Because
I
that's the
believe
second
so.
to end, and then these cuts I mentioned are the end.
And it ends with the montage of all these
Oh.
It
things.
ends with the montage.
Yeah, Cole and Allison's brother get into an argument.
Yeah, that happens.
It ends-
We do get
yeah.
Kristen Cole, who kind of like we sort of see his character arc as he's
Yeah.
starting to sort of, you know, not accept the sort of reality
Right.
of like, hey, there's no honor, no people are really honorable. Like, you know, I'm just here to kind of fight and fight for myself and so on.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you get with Kristen Cole. But yeah,
There's a bunch
let's
of
get.
different storylines that start kind of slowly
Yeah, there's
showing
them.
scenes of them coming together. Everyone seems to be preparing for war.
Yes. But before we get to that,
Before we
let's get to the Alicent and
Yes.
Rhaenyra.
Oh, yeah,
This-
yeah,
because
sorry.
this is
That
the
can't be
That's the
big-
final
yeah,
scene.
this is the big final scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before
Alicent, who's been spending some time in the woods, you know, kind of
That's
like
true. She did do
camping,
that, yeah.
camping, enjoying
Yeah.
nature,
Getting in touch
Finding
with her
herself.
inner self.
floating
Yeah.
in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
always
so-
so
Copious
cool.
amounts
Yeah.
of weed, I'm sure.
yeah.
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 That's also on the
And
extended
shrooms.
cut.
She comes to realization that you know what, fuck
cool.
this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go cut a deal with Rhaenyra.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave with my favorite child, Helena, which I don't
And
blame her
granddaughter.
for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm
And
gonna try
granddaughter.
to save my
Oh,
family.
She's a 31-year-old grandmother.
Grandmother.
by the way.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
how it was
That's
back
how
then.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tough. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Called
It
a
is what it is.
gilf.
Gilf.
She was a gilf. And and so she's telling Rhaenyra, hey, check this deal out. Aemon and the army, they're off. They're gonna go fight Daemon at Harrenhal. When Aemon is gone, I'm gonna open up the gates.
Helena's going to open up.
Yeah. You fucking just go in there and take over
Take
King's
what's
Landing.
yours.
I'm gonna take Helena. We'll
I'll tell
leave.
Aegon to bend the knee. You're fine.
Yep.
And she's
Aegon
like,
will be there.
I know it. You know I can't do that. I
Yeah,
can't
well,
just-
Rhaenyra says like, no. Aegon has to basically die. His
Yeah.
head
Can't
has to
fucking
go.
leave him
I can't.
alive.
Yeah,
Stupid.
and Alicent reluctantly agrees.
Yeah.
Sort of reluctantly
like-
agrees. Yeah.
All right. Kill my kids. I
Well,
can't.
she gets her with like a son for a son.
Yeah. Son for a son.
And like that's the thing that like Alicent's like character has like been aware of this past season is
Yeah.
like, fuck, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, she kind of admits this in this conversation
Yeah,
that
she
she
does.
fucked up.
Yeah.
That she misinterpreted what Viserys was saying.
Comic book
And she set all this in motion,
And yeah,
she's
she's
aware of it. And the saddest part is like she's now like she's coming to terms with it. She's not just like still denying it. She's not,
No.
she's like, fuck, no, yeah, that was me. I fucked that shit up.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. And so she cuts
she's
this deal.
eager. I like the fact that her entire life, Alicent has been basically living her life in the castle. First as a daughter of the hand, being programmed to be the queen, and then the queen, and she lives her life And at the end of season 8, of season 2, she's basically trying desperately
To get
to
the
just
fuck
be
out.
fucking free. And
Yeah.
get away from that shit.
It's tired of the
And she's
scheming.
like, let's just fucking leave this up. Who's coming with me? Like she gets up and she goes
The
to
Jerry
Rhaenyra, she's
Maguire
like,
thing?
Jerry Maguire. I'm
Who's
not gonna
coming with
freak
me?
out. I'm not gonna do what everyone thinks I'm gonna do.
yeah.
But
That's exactly
I just
what
have one
happened.
question. Who's
She even
coming
has a
with me?
suitcase for some
She
reason. I
does.
don't even
And you're
understand
like,
why.
where did that come from?
yeah.
And I feel like I've seen this before, but this happens way before Jerry Maguire. So
Yeah.
there's no way they got it from Jerry Maguire.
And George R. R. Martin is once again stealing from other movies.
This has to
God,
be that.
what a fucking
But Rhaenyra is like
plagiarist.
This can work. I think. What's Rhaenyra's response? He's like, I'm gonna kill your son first of all.
She
Rhaenyra.
says a son for a son, and then she's just like, oh.
Well, basically,
She
Rhaenyra
nods.
says, "All right,
nods.
let's do it." Yeah.
Alicent nods. Alicent's like, she don't verbally say, let's fucking go, but she does kind of nod of like, yeah, all right, and then that's where
She takes the deal, and that's where we get the montage, where everybody's preparing for war.
Yep.
You got the sea snake and his bastard son. They're going off into a battle in the I forget it's the gullet or I forget what it's called.
Queen that never was.
In the ocean.
In the ocean.
Boat. Yeah.
You're welcome.
The narrow sea or so whatever. Anyways, the triarchy
we
has
get-
sent their ships. You got the
Yep.
Lannister and the captain. They're on their way to face.
Real quick, that is played by the same actor.
That is
But they're both brothers.
What
Oh,
the
good.
fuck?
Yeah.
No way.
Now you know.
Didn't know that. Anyways, yeah, you got Kristen
getting
Cole
ready.
and his army. They're preparing for war. They're heading over to Harrenhal. Everybody's for war. Then you get a weird ass fucking scene where Otto Hightower just appears in some prison. We have no idea.
Well, now we know where he's been.
Yeah, because he
I mean,
throughout
we
the
don't know,
season.
but
Throughout the season, that he's been kind of mentioned, and Aemon
he's
wanted
in half
him.
the season.
Huh? Yeah.
He's in half
the season. That's right. Throughout the first half, he was the hand.
Exactly.
But Aemon wants to
Thank
bring
you.
him back because Aemon wants him to be the hand again. But they can't seem to get a hold of
nowhere to
him.
be found.
He's been in some prison. We have no idea what's going on. It's just a glimpse. Then we get Rhaenyra. She's getting ready for war, and that's where the season ends. Which is kind of anticlimactic.
You know,
So
I
much
was
so.
okay with it.
Really?
Honestly.
So much
like
so.
Really? I was
'cause,
like,
I don't want.
"Ah!"
As I mentioned leading up into this episode, that I felt like there was so much that needed to be done that was hard to do in a single episode. So the fact that they didn't also rush the war into just this episode, I felt like it would have been way too rushed. Like,
so I looked into
would I
this.
would I have wanted a longer season 2? Yes.
So I looked
would
into
I want
the-
everything in this episode? No. That's why I'm looking forward to season 3.
So I looked into that because I was like, why is
yeah,
this
I'm
season
with you,
8
Sam.
episodes? It could have been 2 more episodes to show us
It
what
originally
happened.
was supposed to be 10.
Apparently, HBO cut the fucking budget.
Yep.
So this is
Yep.
HBO's fault.
It's the executives.
Motherfuckers.
HBO's fault. We only
Yeah.
got 8
Allegedly.
episodes.
Yeah, because
And we got this
when the whole
cliffhanger.
like HBO Max became Max, I think, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it really kind of as going back to the beginning of this episode that we talked about. I really believe episode 1 through 4 were fantastic. We get a sort of it slows down. I don't think any of the episodes are bad.
No.
Generally,
They're
it's
not.
just that we're building, and we never get to a payoff. And the season ends, and it's like, motherfucker, I have to wait
So-
2 years for this shit to fucking
What
pay off.
you're feeling
God damn it.
is a bit of blue balls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
That's the best way to
Those
put
sons of bitches. But anyways, shall we grade this?
it. Yeah, man. I
Let's end
agree.
this.
Yeah, I agree.
Go.
I remember thinking to my wife, this is not where it fucking ends. There has to be another hour. This is a prank.
It needed to be 10 episodes, I
Yeah.
feel, to really pay off
Like-
the
Episode
season.
9 would have been the fucking epic
Yeah.
battle. Fucking
Yeah,
huge.
and then you would have the aftermath of
Dragons.
episode
Yeah.
10.
Episode 10, the
it's a
aftermath.
proven
But
Game
it's-
of Thrones
it leaves you
formula.
with the cliffhanger.
And speaking of Game of Thrones, I think that's what kind of helped me. Like, remember, like, you know, in early Game of Thrones in the early seasons, there wasn't any big ass battles just yet.
But there was
We got
there
there.
was.
We-
There
season
was.
3 and 4, yes.
Season 2 had a big battle.
Which one?
With the green
The,
fire.
the
and
ones the one at King's Landing at the Battle of
Oh,
Blackwater
you're
Bay.
right.
There
I
you
was thinking
go.
that was season
Blackwater
three.
Bay.
Blackwater
No,
Bay.
that was season 2.
And that, like, I know a lot of people are upset. I know some people are like super chipper about it. I'm it's kind of in the middle.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think that's where I'm at.
Ubele,
I'm
what do
okay.
you grade? What do you grade season 2 of Game of Thrones? House of the
Shit, you're
Dragon.
Starting with me. Did we grade
the first half? I don't
No,
know.
we didn't. We
We
said
didn't
we're
because
gonna
we were
wait
gonna
till
wait.
now.
Wasn't
So
so
you're
the
not-
whole season.
Taking
Whole
the whole
season.
season.
The whole season, I would give it an A minus.
Oh,
Yes.
put that in my grade calculator over here.
Yes, that seems about appropriate. A minus.
What the fuck is
I
my grade calculator?
I am gonna give it a B plus. I think it's
Ooh.
overall pretty good, a pretty good season. But yeah, it left me hanging off a cliff,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
a cliff of which I didn't want to hang from
I
at
hear
this
ya.
A
point.
metaphorical cliff or a
Yes,
literal cliff?
like a metaphorical cliff,
Okay.
one of which I did not want to hang from.
I
I
can
hear
see
ya.
that.
Yeah. But B plus, I still think it was a good season overall.
Hell yeah. I loved every episode. I thought every episode was really engaging, really well written, really well acted. I loved how things came into play. I thought it was really well done. I personally would have loved a longer season. I think that's where everything could have like actually developed a little more properly. That being said, looking at the big picture of it, and knowing that we have at least 2 more seasons to go, which I do hope are 12 episodes each at least. I'm gonna give this because, and then again at the end I was like but I wasn't mad about it, but I did want to. I'm just gonna give it a solid A.
Solid.
It's a
Good.
solid A.
Good.
It took a lot of time to say that. Yeah. I was like, oh wait, where the fuck are you going with this? Wait. Oh, an A. Oh,
Solid
okay.
A.
Just want to get some more blue balls.
And if you haven't read, they have announced how many seasons it's gonna be. They have an ending. They planned it
It's season 4, huh?
4 seasons,
Yeah.
which I'm happy about.
Yeah.
I am very happy. And I said,
we talked about this when we
and you
first
can-
talked about the
yes,
show,
and I was like, I hope it goes about 3 to 4 seasons.
and I was like
Yeah.
4 to 5.
Yeah,
So we met in the middle,
We met in
Sam.
the middle.
Yeah.
I think this is
I don't
good.
remember
I'm
ever having
glad
this
they're doing it. They're not gonna
Was
go
I part of
fucking
this
8
conversation?
seasons.
You were.
Yes,
What
you
did I
were.
say? Did
Yes,
I say
you were.
like 10 seasons?
All
I
right.
think you were just yelling.
Keep it going. Make a movie out of
Okay.
it.
Okay. That's enough. Please.
So our average grade, A minus, B plus, A, is an A minus.
All right.
Hey, that was my grade.
I'll accept that.
Nice.
All right. Please tell us what you thought of House of the Dragon season 2. Comment down below. Tell us how much we suck or how much you love us.
Yeah.
And as
Real quick, because I know my son came into play. My son was named Damon before the show aired. Just throwing that out there. 'cause
Oh,
a lot
good.
of
he
people
was
have
dating before it was
believed
cool.
it's been after the fact, but
Got
it's
it.
actually before.
Yeah, it was before it was cool. All
Right.
right. And as always,
How dark
Have a
night.
dark night.